Give me
Okay.
the vibes of a good cook.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the post-Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving Osquery office hours, in which we discuss turkey and the ways that people should cook it or should not cook it. Thank you. I am a fairly reasonable cook, though I don't cook meat very often, so it's always a little bit foreign when I try. A bunch of my family is vegetarian, so we just don't cook meat much.
Can you give you the space to host a Osquery turkey party?
I don't know. Maybe. Anyhow, on that joyous note, we have an agenda item here to fix the Slack invite link.
Yeah, I love to bring up these kinds of minutia, right? Since we're talking about that. I don't think I can generate the kind of invite, but maybe there's a special kind of invite for posting publicly.
I'm sure I generated the last one. Do you know where it is on the website?
It's in the footer of the front page.
It's so the PR the last time I think I updated it actually. I checked with Blaine. We have it on the README on the website, on the contributing MD, so several places.
Okay.
Let me. Obviously, I closed the page where I found the PR, but let me find it again.
I wonder. I can't quite remember if there's I am an owner in our workspace. And I wonder if there's a thing I can do.
That was a PR. Yeah, I'm not sure. I checked, and it seems so. I can generate one. I can select never expires.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing I've
Yeah.
been told you can do, but I can't see that.
That might be a lie.
Yeah, the fine print is 10 years or for 400 people. Quick search online. I didn't see any, like, oh, the owner can really create a non-expiring one forever. But it seems you may be able to ask Slack to increase the number of people that can get through that invite link.
I doubt it, because I think I remember having this conversation when we did this before, with Slack, and they were like, "Nope, you can't have that."
I'm at the Slack Help Center, and it says on the free Pro and Business Plus plans, members with permissions to send invitations can also share an invite link. Can be used up to 400 by up to 400 people. Are there tiers above Business Plus? What tier are we on?
We're probably on Business or Business Plus. There's an Enterprise tier, but that's kind of a different thing. What I wonder is if I can just refresh this link somehow. I don't know for sure. Let's see if I can figure out what the invite code is. And if there's an obvious button to click to do something clever. Slack, join the conversation. Okay, so it's this one.
I'm also wondering, sorry, this is a dumb question, but is the invite itself necessary? Or in the sense,
I don't
is there
know.
a way to remove the requirement? Or
you can invite people individually or by this link. That's apparently the two ways to do it. So yeah, it kind of is required. The term invite is misleading because that implies a recipient, but it's just kind of posted out there. I've found two things that say this limit is 400 and it's a hard limit, and that's that's stupid, but I guess that's what we have to do. Other Slacks must manage this via individual invite or by just having it auto refresh somehow on another website that trampolines you to the Slack website.
Well, I mean, maybe they do the same thing, which is someone notices it breaks and then they go and fix it.
Yeah. It'd be nice if the notifications or something would alert us to it rather than somebody who kindly mentions that it hasn't been working for a while.
So the interesting thing is I can see all of the invite links, including expired ones. And I don't see this one. This invite link is ZT1WI.
Yeah.
I do not see ZT1WI in the list of invite links. So I think the thing to do is to create a new one. And yeah, I don't think there's much to do. Yeah, it looks like I can renew things that have expired, but I don't see like a reset count kind of button. So I wonder if it hit that max count and then stopped.
Yeah, definitely 10-year did not pass. I do believe that.
Is there a way that our CI could check the link? Just, every time it runs, like, hey, does that still work? And then
you could certainly set up a doing it in CI might be a little bit weird, but you could certainly set up a nightly GitHub Actions that does that. And then potentially like sends a Slack notification. There's kind of a lot of bits of plumbing to make happen for that.
Is it?
Well, you've got to put a Slack. So easy enough to make a GitHub action that like curls the URL, right? That sounds pretty straightforward.
That's my naive suggestion.
But what happens when it fails?
It would fail the pipeline, and you would go, "Oh, I have to update that file."
I don't know how I feel about doing it in CI. Right, like if some contributor submits something and gets an unrelated CI failure, it feels weird. Maybe.
I mean, we can have a separate thing like the CV scan runner, or the other job we use to kill AWS.
Pretty easily have like a scheduled task,
yeah.
Right? That just like runs every 12 hours or every day or something.
Yeah.
But how do you surface failures?
Oh yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, either we send a message in Slack or
if we use third-party infrastructure of some kind to run the periodic check and then Slack notify us, that's one way. But that's infrastructure that we have to set up. We have the CI. That's why I was like, I know it's like a hammer and a nail thing, but I mean, I'm open to any automation that would do it. I think it would be better than it breaking for an indeterminate amount of time, because we have a small community, and I don't know how long it would take for somebody to be. Well, so like if they have to come to Slack to tell us the Slack input doesn't work, that limits it to people who are here already,
Do you want to try and write, if you write a GitHub Actions job, I can remind myself how to plumb Slack notifications through it. You want to write a GitHub Actions job that like pulls it out of the README and curls it?
Okay, as my like volunteer, I guess. I'm volunteering. All right.
You said something.
Yeah. You bring the problem up and you volunteer to solve it.
But yeah, I mean, you might be able to make Slack tokens and post messages, and if not, maybe I can generate one. Some of that's also webhooks now. There's a lot of things. Some of it you probably can just do directly. There's a lot of kind of people have power and can just do stuff in Slack. So you could probably create a webhook and then curl post something to the webhook on failure. I don't think it would be that hard.
Okay.
Take a look, hit me up.
That is a good thing to investigate. However, as the Slack admin, you might need to generate a new link so that I can start working with that.
You can generate one of those yourself.
Is it a public invite link though?
Yeah.
With never expire? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't realize that you had to be an admin. My bad.
Oh, yeah.
No, because Stefano did this last time, and I think what we looked at was whether I could do it any differently, and concluded not.
Okay.
So.
So, I mean, you also have to parse the HTML here to understand if.
Well, I assume that the
More.
CI would be hard coded to the link the same way all the other 10 files that reference it are.
I would just regex it out
What
of
I mean-
README.
No, what I mean is like the link itself will open, but you have to know if it's
I'll check the
working.
return codes.
No, you have to actually parse the HTML. There's no, as far as I know, let me check. I don't think it's returning any error. Like the page is loading.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's 200. So you have to parse the HTML of the page.
okay.
But yeah,
So that, yeah, there's a chance that could break with it being a false failure. You know, the parsing changes on you, and then suddenly seems like it doesn't work. But I'm not going to invent that problem if this was an improvement on the status quo. But let's. I'll file a draft PR when I have figured out some of this.
Okay, my hunch matches yours. That I think you can probably do some relatively straightforward, ugly bash scripting and get pretty far along. Or you could use another programming language. You bake it into Osquery, whatever.
All right, I'll I guess stand down on this task type item so we don't have to use any more office hours time on it. But if anyone else has any comments.
I think it's a great idea, and we should definitely not impact our turkey conversations.
Okay. I don't eat turkey, so it's all irrelevant.
Okay, so Stefano, were you gonna update? Who's gonna update the link?
Oh yeah, I can, yes, if we
Okay.
don't have any other better way.
Maybe you were Mike or something.
I think updating will be a manual process. Notifying that it needs to be updated will be.
Well, I meant in terms
hopefully.
of work happening now.
Oh,
To
okay.
update files. Yeah.
If Stefano's taking that one, I'm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you both. We had a ping from a user who asked us to think about a blueprint issue, and I know there's a linked PR to it. This is issue 8476, which is about homebrew casks and how they report versions. I find it a very interesting question, and I don't know what correct is, and maybe y'all have some opinions. So as I understand the basic problem, when you install a homebrew cask that has an application that itself auto updates, the homebrew package goes out of the homebrew reports the originally installed version, whereas the application is now its whatever its new version is, and this discrepancy is potentially awkward. So I think this user sort of implemented something that follows the symlinks and actually reads the version out of the linked application file, which I feel a little bit mixed on because I sort of feel like we should mirror what homebrew does, but I don't know. Maybe this is more useful. So I'm curious what y'all think.
So,
Sorry about that.
I was going to ask. Unfortunately, I don't have. Well, I haven't checked if I have a similar application that behaves like that. So I'm wondering what one would see. So again, brew would not show, it would only show its own version.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it wouldn't matter because anyway, you would get an update when an update is needed from Homebrew. Yeah, I mean, like high level, I find that the more correct like version we can get, obviously, is better. I don't know exactly, or like even showing both, like it has been installed as, and now it's actually at this version.
Do you think we should add a column? Because we could.
It makes sense to me, yes. Especially, I mean, I can see, for instance, you can see cases where, I mean, well, I can see, I'm just theorizing, but you install something at a version, and for whatever reason, the policy is you should not update that, or like there is a policy, there is actually something that blocks the update of that application, but for whatever reason, the application has been updated, and you cannot see that with Osquery because, again, the cask still reports the older version. So
You might be
yeah.
You might, because casks install apps like applications. So I actually wonder if there's something here around Homebrew should report Homebrew, and then can you join it against the applications table? How would we traverse that symlink? I kind of like, I'm wondering, does it make sense to add a column into the Homebrew packages table, or does it make sense to think about how would you join against the applications table?
Do all applications get installed? I mean, you can, yeah. I mean, do they get installed all in the same place? I think even from Homebrew.
I think casks often install into /applications, but
Yeah.
on macOS, the applications table generally isn't enumerating via local disk. It's using some framework to list the applications. It's using the launch services framework if possible.
I see.
It'll fall back to enumerating /applications, but it defaults to asking launch services for all the apps.
I mean, yeah, this shows I'm slightly less experienced on macOS, but
I was just reviewing that code.
Sorry? Oh,
I was just reviewing that code. It's the only reason I remember.
No, but yeah, I wanted to mention that, like, I know that we have a problem, but when we install Osquery where there is another Osquery app folder around the file system, and the installer again somehow knows where every .app folder is. So I wonder if that same functionality is the one you just mentioned, and so that would answer the fact that doesn't matter where it is. Supposedly, also the apps table should be able to find applications that are around the file system. I should try to see, but I mean, yeah, is there? So this is, I have questions, many questions, just because really I haven't looked into it. So is there an easy way to join the two? Because otherwise, yeah, it also seems to me that if the data is already present somewhere, maybe joining seems to be the way.
Yeah, joining. So I'm looking at the table output on my machine right now.
Let's see.
And joining probably requires doing silly things with the file table, is my guess.
That, oh. Yeah, I'm seeing that it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't have something unique to match with the apps table. Like, you definitely don't have any bundle ID or.
Yeah, we just have sort of a path and a version, which give us a path.
Yeah, of the package though, which the homebrew package, which might not be the path of the apps.
Yeah.
Let's see if they wrote something about it also. Link. Oh, I see. They were looking to see if there is a symlink to the folder from the package.
Yeah, so if I look at, I happen to have something called secretive installed, which is exhibiting this. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I could probably update this with a set of examples.
Also, sorry, Mike, were you going? Might have cut you off earlier.
Oh, me? No, I don't think so. I dropped out because the tab just unloaded in Safari, but I'm here.
Okay.
Let's see. Trying to be overly clever here. Okay. Oh, that's fun. It's really hard to see what a symlink is in Osquery, isn't it? That's fine. We'll get there. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
typing here. I'm still not really sure what correct is.
Yeah, I was also looking. Okay, yes, I do have some apps installed via Homebrew. I see the symlink.
Does how do we see the target of a symlink? Can we do that in Osquery? We have a symlink table or something?
No, also I noticed, I think also the file table is always following it. So
It's not following it. Well, it doesn't show you the target. It just maybe gives you the information about what's at the target.
yeah, yes. Wait, let me double.
I feel like this is a bug. Like, I feel like if it's a symlink, I want to know what it's a symlink to.
Yeah.
But we can't see that because it's hiding from here. So that's a little bit of a bummer.
I mean, okay, yeah, you know that it is a symlink, but you don't know you don't know the target, correct? Yes, yeah. It only checks the path where it is.
Okay, I'm gonna dump this into there.
But I mean, I think their suggestion was to use, like, write it in code to check if something is a symlink, and then follow that internally in the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, if this for the joint suggestion, yes, that would be problematic right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really no other. I mean, yeah, almost saying I'll take it back, meaning again, let's put it in the homebrew packages because maybe it's easier, because it seems easier to do it from code than asking the user to jump around the file system to find which app that is, which they can get wrong. So although they also wonder about the case where one has multiple .app, but I mean, could be wrong, but it seems weird for a single homebrew package to have multiple applications in it. Am I wrong, or other?
I have no idea. Like it's not weird to have multiple binaries, but I don't know if it's weird to have like multiple apps in a cask.
Yeah.
Apps as in the app bundles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that before. No. A lot of times what I see is a complicated series of indirections. So what's ultimately implemented with a Python script is somehow, in my binaries path.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like my Emacs cask has several files in it, but only one of them is an app bundle. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is a good thing this user has surfaced, and I don't know what we should do.
Is the table itself, I'm looking at the implementation, and I could answer my own question, but I'll ask anyway. Is the table's implementation reliant on something else in OSQuery core to tell it whether the files are symlinks or not? If so, I mean, do we have two tasks here? One to add functionality to core, or do we just have to update this table somehow?
I think that this opens two things that we're missing, right? One of them is that I think the file table should probably reflect the symlink targets if this is an easy thing to get. So if it's a link, we should include the link target, whether that's a new table or just something on the file table. I feel ambivalent about. And then I think the user's calling out this sort of question of, hey, how do I get the actual version? And if we had a symlink target, you could imagine trying to do it with a join against the applications table, or we could add a column, or we could replace the version column with the implementation this user has. And I just feel very, very unsure about like what data are we losing in a sense. Is it ever a bad thing to mask the version that Homebrew has installed? Right? If you installed it from version 1 to 3, is it a problem to lose that information? You know what I mean?
I don't know, just history of what happened. Like it was expected to be at that version, but it did not.
Homebrew version is not reflected in the table, though, right? We have just the version of the homebrew package.
Yeah, which may or may not be the version of the app, I guess.
I mean, so I would show both. I would show both versions. I think the question is, I mean, at the same time, I would also implement it in code so that in the provide a best effort, meaning we assume each cask brings with itself a single app bundle, and then yeah, again, we implement it in code so that the user normally doesn't have to create a query. Then he may get wrong, he may not get, again, connect the correct package to the correct application for whatever reason through a query. And then if anything else fails, they still have the query way, and we can fix the or add the information in the file table to know the symlink target, which is a single API called read link internally. So.
I think that makes sense. So we want to maybe add a column into Homebrew packages, and call it something like cask version or something, or I don't know, app version or.
Yeah. Yeah, they were also suggesting to show, or questioning if it made sense to add an auto update flag to know if, let me see, because they say that Homebrew does have metadata to know if there is something that auto updates, so that if the two things can get out of date, apparently. Let's see, yeah.
I mean, I'm usually in favor of bubbling up more information.
Yeah, also that out of date would be another indication that if you have those two versions that differs, something strange is happening. I don't know. Again, more information.
Okay, I will try and formulate a response to this along the lines of more information is probably better. We're a little bit cautious about changing version, but maybe we should add a column. And some other comments about, like, clearly we should add a symlink target column into files, because that will let people kind of reconstruct it if there are problems. I think one of the things that I have bumped into a lot in just writing tables in Collide is that the real world is always much messier than I can come up with for code. And the best I can do is kind of just expose enough information that I can construct incredibly ugly SQL queries to get at the real data. Because anything that I thought to write around, like, how do I go from a cask to an app will be wrong 5% of the time. So I kind of just, I don't know, I'm very leery of trying to make things fancy versus being like, well, you can just traverse it all with the file table and have fun. So, yeah.
No, I agree, but like, at least in the case where, like, you know, it works, it gives that information. Like, again, I find the query and the joining as a fallback. Like, you can still give some data, and also, yeah, maybe the only detail, like, I see that failing either there's no app for whatever reason that the table can find, but like there is an app. But how can you disambiguate? Well, okay, but the other thing is there are maybe multiple apps in the cask, and you don't know which one to take, and I don't know, the code maybe will take the first one.
Or maybe you take
And
none. Like if there's more than one
Or
app.
none again. Yes, that makes no sense, because again, how can you signal that you
Yeah.
are in a unsupported case? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes. But again, I think that the majority of cases you do have a single app in there, and we should be able to get the version. So
Okay, I will formulate this into a reply. Feel free to chime in if I miss something, but I will try and write it up into 8476. Yeah. I think that's everything on our agenda right now. Okay. Anyone want to talk about anything else? Okay. In that case, thank you all for your time and your code and discussion of turkeys and other strange holiday foods. And I will talk to you all in 2 weeks or so.
okay.
Okay.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.